In dedication to it recently being Halloween, I decided to do a video of my share of haunted houses that I've seen. Not actual haunted houses like you. There's a chance you might see a ghost wandering the halls. No, it's like man created. My cat's here. The true haunting. Come here, you. Um, uh, I remember when I was in Okinawa, they would have this. It'd be kind of like a storage unit that they would use to make into a haunted house. And those of you who know me, I'm traumatized of haunted houses thanks to my own father. He took me to when I was 7. He took me to a haunted house, and I had a Saba sword, like the White Tiger. I think it's Saba or Saba. I don't know. Okay. Um, he took me to there, and I was dressed up as a ninja. I was playing my part, so I'm all up in the action and stuff. And we start going through, and things start popping out at me, and my dad's noticing how I'm jumping with the sword every time something comes out at me, and he's like, "I see trouble written all over this." And so he takes the sword away from me, and I'm like, "What the heck am I supposed to do?" Since my webcam wanted to freeze on me again, I decided to get the kitty. Hear me, authors, if you dare. Hear me! Hear me! Stop it, boy. Let me go now. Let me go. Okay, fine. There you go. And I decided to grab Saba as well. Still works after all these decades. Or decade. But as I was saying, my dad took Saba away from me, and I was like, how am I supposed to defend myself? I'm a little 7-year-old kid in a haunted house. I swear should have been meant for only teenagers. And we're going through, and something, it was like a scream mask with the tongue sticking out. The dude came out from underneath the table and was like, and me being 7, seeing that sort of face, I jumped for my father's leg. Sadly, I did not grab my father's leg. Next thing I hear is, and I'm like, I look up, I grab Frankenstein out. I grabbed the next closest leg, which happened to be a mother with 2 who had to be on the other leg. So this lady's like, God freaking dang it. My dad's like, that's my boy. So ever since then, I swear to God, I've been traumatized of haunted houses because I used like the Disneyland one. We went through that, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I've been here and stuff, and we got closer, and I'm like starting to panic. I'm sweating. I'm 10 years old. I'm like, why the heck am I sweating? Why am I afraid? And I just concluded I'm afraid of haunted houses. And those of you who have not noticed, I'm wearing a leather jacket. Yes, it looks like Logan's in a way from X-Men Origins. But as I was saying, there was a haunted house at this base, and my parents took me against my will, mind you. They're like, well, no, they kind of blackmailed me. They're saying, if you don't come with us, you're not getting an ice cream. Oh, circuit! I wanted ice cream. What can I say? So they were going, and the whole entire time, yes, I'm 15, but I'm about ready to piss myself, and I'm like, everyone's freaking surrounding me. I don't want any of this. And mind you, I have ADHD. So when I'm in a panic state of mind, my head is, I'm seeing any and everything that will jump out at me, like any crack, any door, anything. I'm like, I'm ready. And so by the time we got through it, I'm like, oh my God. And I don't know if I can call him a friend, but anyway, this girl that he liked, she didn't like him the same way, I guarantee you. She was 8th grade, I don't know. Anyway, she was like, her and her friends were going through and stuff, and to go get into the entrance, mind you, it's there's these like 2 or 3 ton like tube things, and you go in there and you spin it around, and you walk out the other side. So then like people who are on the outside can't see what's going on the inside and all that sort of stuff, I guess. Um, and then there's like a line and stuff, and then you get to the entrance. And literally, she went in, spun, and came back out. And I'm like, and she's like freaking out because apparently there was a dude in like a full white Scream outfit was standing there going, hello. So she was kind of a little freaked out there. Who can blame her? And so realize her mom doesn't even know me. She's never seen me before in her life. And her mom asks, okay, would anyone take my daughter through? And I'm like, it's a girl. I'm like, I don't mind. She goes, he'll take you. I'm like, you don't even know me. I could be like a little kid rapist in training for all you know, and you're having me take your daughter. Once again, the webcam has failed me again. That's why I want a video camera. There's no way that crap should fail. And as I was saying, for all you know, I'm a rapist in training, and you're having me take your daughter through a dark little place. So, and she told me she watched, I think, all 3 Grudges. I don't know if they had the 3rd one out back then, but I know she said she watched them. I'm like, you go to a haunted house after watching a whole bunch of scary movies? How is that smart? Because all those paranoias and stuff, that's going to be in your head. You're like, maybe she's going to come out and get me. Maybe she's going to stab me. Oh my God! Literally, that's what she was talking about, right? So, it's me, her, and her 2 little friends. Well, not 2 little friends. Her 2 cute friends who, one happened to be taller than me, which really discouraged me so much, being that I'm 15 and they are 13-ish. I don't know. So we're going through, and I'm like, I'm telling her everything that's going to happen because, like I said, ADHD, I see everything that's about to happen. So we're going through, and I'm like, see that right there? See that guy pointing? That's a real person. So don't be like, wow, it looks so real, because he's going to jump at you. And she's looking at him, and we're turning the corner, and he's just like, and she's like, ah! I'm like, it's a person! What is so scary? And, and so, to torment me, and, well, I'm guessing me and her, most definitely her, is he got up in her face and is like, and she's like burying herself into my chest, and I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you. But why here? And why not other? So, I'm like, dude, really? And so we're getting closer and closer to where they, like, those guys like, come with me. So, and so the closer I'm getting, the more hands I start feeling on me. I'm like, either this girl's a spider or there's something wrong here. And I start looking around, and her 2 little friends are grabbing onto me, and I'm like, you're testing me, aren't you, God? You must be. Oh. And we get there, and I swear, I'm being surrounded by girls, and the tour guide's like, God. Oh, and he's probably thinking I'm the luckiest man alive. I'm like, no, I'm not. I do not want to be in this situation. And so I'm telling the girls, I'm like, okay, one at a time. Just go one at a time. Because if you go so many times, because there's a thing, and at a certain weight, it starts shaking and vibrating. Not like shaking like you fly off, but shaking enough where you're like, ah! It sounds like thunder. My cat. So we're going through. So we're going, and the 2 girls that I left behind are a little panicked, like, oh my God, don't leave us here, and they start running past me, and I'm like, what did I just freaking tell you? When it goes off, and they all start screaming, and I'm like, oh God. And we're going through, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen, and there's a guy with a chainsaw coming up. Do not scream. What happens? All in my ear. They're all surrounding me. And have you ever had that thing where like you and somebody else is screaming at the top of your lungs, hear that ringing sound? That's what was going through my head. I'm like, oh dear Jesus. So they're all screaming and stuff. And I'm like, what did I tell you? And oddly enough, someone that goes to school with me who knows me was working at that thing. He's in the same grade as me, Jack Miller. And he saw how much, it wasn't that I was afraid, it wasn't the fact that I was having fun and he wanted to ruin it. He just saw how much the girls screaming was killing me and he wanted to intensify it. So he's like, roar, or something. I don't know which one it was, but all I know is he came out and made. Now, if anyone's ever wondering why I'm standing over here, then over down here in my webcam, this crap is why. It constantly freezes, and I'd hate to keep talking for a minute and not realize I'm not doing anything. I'm not recording me. All I'm getting is audio. But like I was saying, they're like, screw the boy, let's get the heck out of here, even though he's helped us the whole way, been so nice to us, and he's very cute. I just had to add that little thing in. You know it. Haters. But like I was saying, and then, you know how you hold on to something for so long, your hand tenses up, like your muscles are just like stuck like there's like rigor mortis, you're like trying to pry your hand, takes longer and stuff. Yeah, they totally forgot that their hands took a little longer to let go, so they're like, their hands like, no, and they're so they're pulling me, right? I'm being dragged out by these girls, they don't even realize it, so I'm having to run, and I'm like, ah! And the monster comes, and I'm like, get off me, and I come out, and the first thing my parents see is me trying to get these girls off me, right? And so my parents are like, so much for being a gentleman, trying to get those scared girls off of you because you're too terrified. And I'm like, no, Mom, I was terrified that they were going to kill me by dragging me across the ground. You know, it's, you know, kind of got to think about it that way. And they're like, oh, right. I'm like, Mom, I was telling them not to run. They were dragging me. Sure. It looked more like you were dragging them when it came out. Well, that was because I'm trying to get them off me. Yeah. So at the end, I got 3 scoops of ice cream because that was some bull crap and they know it. So, that's it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.